and then we'll jump into it. Hey there, it's Rich
Cool.
Monroe with B&B Investing. Thanks everybody for jumping on this week. As usual, we are doing these Facebook Lives to kind of do a deep dive in the short-term rental model, whether you're doing acquisitions, master lease, or if you are doing managing for other investors. And so we usually like to talk to different service providers, kind of get a good sense of what the options are to help scale your business, and look at different integration tools. And we had Frank originally scheduled several weeks ago. He wasn't feeling too well, so we've rescheduled today. So I'm glad we're able to get you back on here, Frank. Why don't you tell us a little bit? Yeah, that's great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump in.
Yeah, so I'm Frank Bosi. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been with Hostfully for, let's say, I think it's approaching 4 years almost. It's been phenomenal. Great product, great software, great team. And we're constantly adding features and capabilities and growing our software. We do really well with one listing property manager, and we also do really well with hundreds of listings property managers. So it's all contingent on our software. We're really all contingent on the property manager and what they're looking for in the software.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And how long have you been with Hostfully?
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years?
I think it'll be 4 years in June. Flew by.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then for a lot of our folks that are kind of just starting to learn the different options, give us kind of a basic description, if you could, on what you guys provide as a service. I've been using Hostfully actually for many years. I know you guys have a guidebook option as well as a part of your platform. And so it would be good to hear a little bit about kind of, what your different options are and kind of how they help us in our business.
Yeah, I mean, so Hostfully has two separate products. We have the property management software, and we also have the digital guidebooks. So Hostfully actually started off solely digital guidebooks, and then they merged with Orbi Rental, the property management software. And ever since then, we're now, Hostfully, and I think it's been like 8 years now, 9 years, where it's been just Hostfully property management software, digital guidebook. So the property management software is essentially an all-in-one, just to assist the property manager. We have channel managers, so we're integrated with Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, Google Vacation Rentals, Marriott International Homes and Villas. We have a bunch of other channels, more of the niche market that we integrate with. We have a unified calendar that communicates with all the channels to which you're connected. So if you're on your calendar, we'll take more of a look when I do the demo, but you make a block on your calendar, it communicates to all the channels, so we avoid double bookings, any missed opportunities. Really pretty to look at as well, the calendar. Every channel has a designated color, so you know where the reservations are coming from. Unified inbox, which is huge. All communication will be done via the unified inbox, so we have the opportunity to communicate with all of your guests. You no longer have to go into separate locations to talk to those. We have text messaging, email capabilities, automatic email and text message. The amount of features and capabilities we have is growing, and it's borderline endless for a 1-hour demo. And then we have the guidebook product. And the digital guidebook has the arrival information, departure information. We have a marketplace where you can generate more revenue. It's completely customizable. So restaurants, accommodations, attractions, anything that you essentially want to communicate with that guest, you can do so via the guidebook. We also recently had or have a partnership with Viator. So if any of you know Viator, it's a website where you can book attractions during your stay. We integrate with that. So as a property manager, you have the opportunity to make 8% commission off of any attraction that's booked via the guidebook, via Viator using the guidebook. So the integration is seamless. And then also talking about integration, the guidebook integrates with the property management software. So if a lockbox code gets generated on Hostfully, it communicates to the guidebook, so you can professionally communicate that lockbox code to your guest. Again, just to note, the guidebook You don't have to use the property management software for Hostfully. If you're using one of our, other softwares in the market, Guesty, Hostaway, OwnerRes, whatever the property manager software is, the guidebook is a URL link that you can just put in your automatic email. We like for you to use both, obviously, but they do a really good job syncing the two as well.
All right. A quick question before we jump in. So, in my business, I have the three different strategies. So I buy properties to do this. I do the master lease strategy, and then I also manage properties for other investors. Does the platform help out with all three strategies, or is there limitations for any of the three?
I wouldn't say there are limitations. So the first one, managing properties for other users, other owners, absolutely. What were the other two, Rich?
So, acquisitions, buying my own properties, and self-managing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and whatever listing you have, regardless of whether you own it or you're managing it on someone else, on behalf of someone else, and also the co-host model. So it's a limitation on Airbnb in terms of the co-host. We at Hostfully, we have a great workaround. Essentially, the owner just has to allow you to log into their software, but all three are totally feasible. Absolutely.
Got it. All right, so I'm gonna let you kind of walk us through. Those of you guys that are just jumping on, and also the ones watching the replay. In order to do this business at scale, you cannot do this without a property management system. A lot of the automation, a lot of the tools, like Frank talked about, synchronizing your calendar, having a combined inbox. It's very difficult to run this like a business and maximize revenue, be placing your listing on multiple platforms without using a property management system like this. So it's critical. Feel free to ask any questions as we go through this in the comments. And we really want to kind of provide this functionality and what the system is capable of. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Frank, and let's dig in.
Yeah, awesome. So this is Hostfully in a nutshell. So the dashboard, the inbox, your pipeline, your calendar, and your analytics are going to be your day-to-day. This is where you're going to live and breathe on a daily basis. So this is our interface. This is essentially what it looks like. And then right over here on the back end is our set it and forget it, kind of our one time. Any adjustments, updates you need to make, you'll do it here. Rarely would you be in this section. But what we do is with onboarding, which we'll get to in a little bit later, they really help you set this up and ensure that everything is set up correctly. Starting with the dashboard, as I mentioned, this is where all of your leads are going to be received. Also, just to ensure that no leads are falling through the cracks, they will also go ahead and be highlighted here. So again, just keeping you on track. We have a quick snapshot of your analytics, but we also have an analytics tab where you can really deep dive into your listings and get a better sense as to which listings are performing better, what your daily rates are. You have a lot of opportunity within the analytics just to stay on top of a better understanding of your listings. With that being said, the big trend now, and I wouldn't even say it's a trend, it's here to stay, is the direct bookings. We love Airbnb, we love Vrbo, we love all of the channels. That's how you get your visibility. But you don't want to keep all of your eggs in one basket, and direct bookings are sometimes, most of the time, super helpful. And it just gives this level of just a personal touch on guest reservations, because they're going to talk to Rich directly about making a reservation. And there's just like this just other level of intimacy, for lack of a better word.
But all for someone on Rich's team.
Yeah, right. And even like under the dashboard, you'll see everything. But what I wanted to pull up is our out-of-the-box direct booking website. So if you don't have your website, that's fine. We provide you with an out-of-the-box direct booking website, completely free of charge, included in all of our packages. And it's completely customizable. So here you have your Carolina destinations. That's my property management company. You have your logo. You can change the background photo as well as the verbiage. And now you can also update the colors to match your logo. So really you have a lot on your direct booking website. Clicking here, wait, actually, let's backpedal real quick. If you do have your own website, we provide you with a search widget and a booking widget, and that will connect seamlessly to your direct booking website and our software. So we can easily do that as well. Going back to our website, all of your listings will be here on the left, along with a map as to where your properties are located. The guests will review and they'll click, for example, this is the Sky Club. It's my property up north. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, if you didn't catch me. But this is up north in Hoboken. And with the Sky Club, it's going to provide you with all the information you need to make that reservation, or all the information that the guest needs. So you have your pictures, the property, all the information and guidance to assist your guest, your potential guest, in making the reservation with you. They'll simply go ahead here, make the reservation. Let's do July 29th, and we'll do it for the 3rd. So July 29th to August 3rd, we're going to put 2 guests, and you'll see how that works out in a minute. We'll use my email address just so I could show you some emails that come through, and then we're going to use good old Rich here as a guest. So the guests will put in their name. They'll also input their phone number, and we also have 2 opportunities where the guests can enter a brief message. So if they're allergic to feathers, if they need an early arrival, if they want to surprise their significant other with flowers, whatever the guest wants to share with you, they can do so here. It's up to you as the property manager to do with that information what you want, and you can also enhance the guest's stay significantly from this little box. And then you have the discount codes as well. So in Hostfully, you're able to create discount codes for specific dates, expiration dates, like reoccurring codes, but you're also able to create one-time codes. So let's say Rich stayed with me, had a hiccup, an inconvenience. I can create one that says Rich 123, and then upon Rich's departure, be like, hey, Rich, sorry for all the inconvenience you've encountered. If you do decide to come back to Hoboken, New Jersey, please feel free to use this discount code. You'll get $300 off your next stay. So that discount code alone has not only incentivized the guest to come back with you, but it's also giving you, the property manager, the opportunity to wow them, enhance their stay, and win them back as a repeat guest. So there's a lot that you can do with discount codes. Hostfully, needless to say, does very well with direct bookings, and we have a lot of features and capabilities that assist you with getting those guests to come back. And then you'll just prove you're not a robot. I think the majority of us can attest to that. And then you're going to send the quote. So there's 2 options as well. For demo purposes, I have send a quote, and it's set up as inquiry only. However, you can also do instant booking, completely up to you, your market, your strategy, your operations. We give you the option to do either or. And not only is it limited to the direct booking, but you can also do it on Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com. Let's say on Airbnb, you want instant booking. You can set it up that way because they have all the processes in place to ensure that that guest is a real guest. And then maybe for your direct bookings, because you don't have all of those, insurance security in place, you may want to do a request so you can kind of deep dive and get to know the guest before you approve their reservation. So for demo purposes only, I did include it here. And for that, what I'm going to show you is, because we received a quote, we're also going to notice here on our dashboard that we have a notification. So we'll be notified when we get a new lead. You're going to click here and you're going to see, I'm going to refresh it real quick. We're going to see that Rich made an inquiry or a booking request. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and assign it to someone else on my team. Once I assign it to someone else on my team, it's going to automatically populate to our pipeline. And our pipeline is unique to the industry. It's where you're going to see all of your guests and where they are in the process of their reservation. So right over here, I have this set up as arrivals. However, I can change it quickly and filter through most recent, so the creation date, and we're going to see Rich's reservation is going to be the first one up here. Bear with me. I don't know if I assigned it to my
There it
dashboard,
is.
29th view, and pipeline. Oh, I didn't apply the filter. So I did creation date, need to apply the filter, and then it'll populate. So right over here, once everything populates, we're going to go ahead and see Rich's reservation up top. And we have 4 different circles. We have a quote, hold, booked, and stay. So again, the pipeline is going to keep you in line and really focused on where your guests are in the process of their reservation, but also their payment statuses. So here we have Rich as an inquiry, and I'm going to go ahead and view it, review it, and I'm going to see he wants to arrive the 28th to the 3rd, 5 nights total. Maybe in his notes, let's say he asked for a pet, or he noted that he was going to come with a pet. We have a bunch of opportunities where you can create optional and mandatory fees. So pet fee is obviously contingent on the guest's stay. So for example, Rich is arriving with a dog. We're going to click on pet fee and it automatically populates the invoice. Anything with dotted blue lines is adjustable. So maybe, you know what, I'm surprised that I got this reservation. I really want this guest to book. It's during off season where I'm not getting many inquiries. So instead of scaring them away with the $34.75, I'm going to do a $2,500. You can update that. Everything else also populates accordingly. And you're just going to save and you're going to open an email. And this is what the guest is going to receive. You can send it via email, inbox, or text message. I'm going to go ahead and send it via email. And just to show you how quickly that email gets sent is right over here. So you have your logo, you have the guest's first name, the property, the dates, and the total. And then the guest can have the option of putting it on hold if you want to do hold. I know some markets don't require holds because they're booming, like Florida, Tennessee. You don't want to put those on hold. But maybe some other areas where you can justify a 24-hour wait, why not? So you could do a request to hold, or the guest can click book now. I'm going to request a hold so I could show you how it populates on the pipeline. But going back, let's say the guest just wants a book now. You're going to have the opportunity to look at the invoice. Bear with me one moment. Good old live demos and Wi-Fi. Any questions so far, Rich, while we wait for this to load?
Yeah, so let's say I onboard with Hostfully. I've got 10 properties. We onboard them onto the platform. How easy is this website, the direct booking website? Is it just a click of a button and it gets populated as a default? Or is there some customization that needs to happen to get it live?
A little bit of both. So I'll show you that in a moment. But good question. It's really easy to set up, and I'll show you that. Yeah.
Cool.
But now, since it's loaded, this is what the guest is going to see. They're going to have a full breakdown of the charges. And they're going to go ahead. They'll look at the price. You know what? It looks good. Let's move forward. We're excited for our stay. They're going to confirm and continue to put in their credit card. However, with Hostfully, you have the opportunity to upsell additional items. So if you want to sell a golf cart or a private chef, romance package, charcuterie board, early arrival, late departure, a lot of people use that as an upsell, which is pretty cool. You can upsell that there easily. So let's say, you know what, I'm actually going to stay here with a bunch of friends and I want a charcuterie board upon my arrival. That automatically populates on the invoice. The guest will confirm and continue. They'll put in their credit card information, place their order, and then that automatically populates on the pipeline under booked. But because we chose the hold option, you're going to see that the pipeline is going to reflect Rich's reservation as hold. We could also take offline trend, yellow, orange, and green. The yellow means that the reservation is not yet due. The orange means that there's a balance and that balance is due. And then the green means the reservation is paid in full. So again, visually, you'll know exactly where your guest is in the process of the reservation, in addition to where they are with their payment status. So right over here, Rich, it's under hold. He doesn't owe anything yet. But let's say, going back to the offline transactions, we also have payment processes that we integrate with. And we'll talk about the payment processors towards the end of the demo. But let's say Frank is a repeat guest of Rich's, goes down to Florida, stays at his property all the time. They get to know one another. They're buddies. Frank doesn't want to pay payment processing fees. So he's like, hey, Rich, can I send you a Venmo? Pay in full. I just don't want to have to deal with all those fees. He says yes. As soon as that money hits the bank account, Rich is just going to mark it as booked. It's going to populate under booked right away. You can record the payment. So let's say maybe Frank wanted to do 2 Venmo payments. He can do that. Or maybe he sends the full total of $3,727. You can go ahead and mark it as paid. Notice it turns green right away. So as soon as a payment is made, it automatically generates and updates the pipeline. And in our software under properties, which I'll show you in a little bit, you can create 2 payments. So what I do is 50% upon the booking, and then 21 days prior, the remaining balance gets taken out. And that's if you really want to automate the credit card process with your direct bookings. And again, the pipeline, not only for direct bookings, all of your reservations are going to be here. And you can see via the channel here and when the reservation was made, who made it, and all that fun stuff. Now, if you notice on this reservation, it's just green. That means the guest paid. But on the others, you see these icons. And the reason is we also include a rental agreement and a pre-arrival form. Those links are dynamically generated. So with our automated templates and triggers, our automated emails, I went ahead and I did every time a booking gets confirmed, an automatic email gets sent to the guest. So in this email, I like to say not yet confirmed. This way they know that they have to complete a form and sign a rental agreement. But again, automatic, guest name, property, dates, and here is the pre-arrival form as well as the rental agreement. Now the rental agreement is going to pull the guest's first name, postal code, and everything populates accordingly here. There is my rental agreement. The guest will accept the terms and conditions. Oh, I forgot to put the postal code. So notice the asterisks, mandatory fields. They don't have to be mandatory, but you want to make these mandatory. So in order to do that, I can then now review, accept the terms and conditions, sign, and submit that agreement. That will now populate. Also wanted to show you our pre-arrival form. Our pre-arrival form, again, is a link that is dynamically generated and is also completely customizable. You can ask as many or as little questions as you want. So phone number, government approved ID, a passport, how many guests are traveling. Now, remember when we made the reservation, we chose 2 guests. The pre-arrival form automatically generated 2 guests. If you made a reservation for 7, the pre-arrival form is going to generate 7 fields for you to put in that contact information. Now, if you have 7, it's an inconvenience. So what we also do in the pre-arrival form is you can make the top 2 or the top 3 guests mandatory, and then the remaining guests will be optional. If they want to put in that information, they can. You just also don't want to be an inconvenience to the guests and making them all mandatory. But here's Rich. We'll go on a little boys trip. Frank is going to be the second guest. Reason for the trip, estimated arrival and departure time, house rules, which I want them to sign, to agree to. But then here is any additional information. And this comes in handy to upsell. So like here I did, you were interested in check-ins, like early check-in, late checkout. They'd be interested in renting a boat or a bike or what golf cart. You can, this is your opportunity to kind of just get to know what the guest has in store. Also, a lot of people now have condos, houses in HOAs. HOAs have a list of questions that they need answered in order for any reservation to get made. The pre-arrival form, and our Floridian clients love this, is the pre-arrival form. You have all those questions, make them mandatory, and the guests need to answer that before they can complete their booking. All they'll have to do, and again, they won't be able to complete it unless that question is answered. They'll go ahead and save it. And what you're going to see here, Rich, is your reservation. But once I refresh it, you're going to see those two new icons, which is the rental agreement has been signed and the pre-arrival form has been completed.
And so I
as
saw
of
that
right
there was
now,
a spot.
Rich's reservation is looking good.
Just a quick question, Frank. So the uploading of the government issued ID, is that a kind of a question that's standardized? So every single one, or are you able to make adjustments depending on, can you use different pre-screen questions for different guests? Is what I guess what I'm trying to ask.
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
So
you don't
if I know
even
it's
have
a return
to have that on
guest.
there.
Yeah, if I know it's a return guest, or they've got real favorable previous reviews, and then I don't really want to put them through the hassle of uploading their ID. Is there a way that I can differentiate between one guest over the other?
So the pre-arrival form is going to be over all guests. So if you make it mandatory, that guest who may be a repeat guest is mandatory for them to put that information in. However, we do have integrations with Superhog and Safely, and those are two really good guest screening and insurance integrations that we have, and we're going to review our integrations a little bit later. But those will be a little bit more robust of a guest screening as well.
Well, it's still huge and valuable to be able to have that option when you're doing a direct booking. For those of you that are just getting started, the whole intent, obviously, to do the direct booking is to have more control over the reservation, have the guests not have to pay the additional OTA fees, but you still, as a host, want to have the comfort that you're not dealing with a fraud situation or going to get into some problems because it's an underage guest. So the ability to upload that ID is a big benefit to be able to do that as a part of your pre-screening process, for sure.
For sure, and you receive that, and then everything else lives in the reservation, even like the rental agreement. And one of the questions can be, are you over the age of 18? And make that mandatory, and they have to answer that. If they ever say yes, and then you're faced with some sort of lawsuit, they said yes, So we do cover all the necessities, but again, Safely, Superhog, they do that stuff as well. And again, if you notice here, you can see all customers, you can build a profile. So if Frank is a repeat guest of yours and he's allergic to feathers, every time Frank stays with you, that note is in his profile. Your team is going to know to put hyperallergenic pillows in his bedroom. So all that stuff lives here. And then again, we have filters. So if you want to really drum it down to all of your arrivals in the next month, you put arrival date that are booked, you apply those filters, and you can see Brandon's arriving in 21 hours, Will in 4, Cindy in 7, and you get a full list. So as of right now, I'm looking pretty good, except for Steve. Steve signed the rental agreement, but he didn't complete the pre-arrival form. So what I'm going to do, again, it's 55 days. I think I could wait. But if I need, let's say it's, he's arriving in a week, I just send the pre-arrival form reminder, send him that email. He clicks on this link, he completes the pre-arrival form. So again, the pipeline visually, you get a really easy understanding of your operations right from here. And then you have your inbox. So it's a unified inbox.
Another quick question. So that pre-approval form can be used whether you're doing a direct booking or if it's coming through Airbnb or another platform? I don't know if you got the question.
Yep. I got the pre-approval form.
Yeah. So does that pre-approval form get presented to not only the direct bookings, but also if they're coming through Airbnb or some of the other platforms?
Yeah, so both the rental agreement and the
Okay.
pre-arrival form are dynamically generated links. So you can easily send it on over to those. The thing is with Airbnb
Perfect.
and via the Airbnb inbox, sometimes they recognize links. Sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. The way that technology is going, Airbnb is catching a lot of those links. So what you want to do is ultimately, if your main goal is to capture email addresses, we have integrations that do that. Our guidebook splash screen does that. But also you could also just do the pre-arrival form upon check-in, get their email, and then you can go ahead and send it to them.
Got it.
With our inbox, we have Airbnb, Verbo, Booking.com, unified inbox. So all of your messages are going to be received on Hostfully, and they're going to be responded on Hostfully. Your responses are going to go back to the channels from which the reservation originated. So if somebody on Airbnb makes a reservation, sends you an inquiry like, hey, can I get an early arrival? You're going to respond on Hostfully saying your response is going to go back to the Airbnb inbox. So again, centralized place for all of your communication. Not only that, quick recap of the reservation, all the different guests, but then you could also see, here's my conversation between Rich and I have a full history of that conversation. And then you could search name or specific email should you need to. And then the calendar. So the calendar is probably my favorite. Let me hide this because that's the quote building feature, which is probably my favorite feature. So let's say you have 25 listings. All my 25 listings are here on the left, along with reservations on the right. Every channel, as I mentioned earlier, will have its own designated color. So Airbnb is red, Verbo is blue, Google Vacation Rentals will be green, Marriott International will be purple, direct bookings are yellow. So every channel, again, easy to understand where they're coming from based on the color, but we also included a logo just to confirm. Toggling over a reservation, you have a quick recap of that reservation. But if I need to know more information about Cindy, I'm going to click on the reservation and all of that necessary information is at my fingertips. I can create a job. Let's say there's a leak in the ceiling. I'll create a job notifying the maintenance guy that they need to come fix a leak. Or I have to send Cindy a message directly. I can do so right over here. If you notice these little blue dots, these are our jobs. So what I did here, all of our service provider portal, all of our service providers have their designated portal. So service providers don't have to just be cleaners. They could be maintenance, plumber, engineer, a greeter, a runner, a concierge, anyone that provides a service to you, you can create in our software to give them their own portal. So what I did here is every time a reservation gets booked, regardless of the channel it's coming from, gets a job created on the last day of the reservation automatically. What also happens is as soon as a job gets created, the service provider, in this case the cleaner, will be notified that they have a new job. They'll complete the job, and this blue circle turns green, notifying you, the property manager, that that job has been completed. So let's say Cindy calls, she just arrived, and the listing, the house isn't clean completely. So what you can do is you can create a job, let your cleaner know that the guest is going to be at the beach from 12 to 4, and that unit needs to be cleaned. Save that. And that job has now been created the day of arrival. That guest or that cleaner now just received an email or a text message or a WhatsApp, if you want to communicate it that way, that they have a new job. They'll log into their portal, they'll view the job, they'll go to the unit, they'll clean it before Cindy gets back from the beach, they'll notify that the property is clean, and once this blue circle turns green, you can then click on Cindy's reservation, go to client information, there's her phone number, shoot her a text. Apologies for the inconvenience, hope you're enjoying the beach, just know your unit is clean, feel free to come by whenever you like. So you could get a pretty good process in place in terms of communicating with your service providers. The other things you can see on this calendar are blocks. So owners can make blocks if you allow them, and the property managers can obviously make blocks, whether it's, a deep clean, a renovation, maybe you have some marketing photo shoot thing going on. All you have to do is block the calendar. If I were to log into Airbnb right now, these dates would be automatically blocked on Airbnb. I won't even see it as an option. So our communication from Hostfully to all the other channels happens right away, within seconds. And that prevents a lot of headache and a lot of, not a lot of double bookings, but prevents a lot of double bookings. Because a lot of the time, which I'm sure that many of you have noticed, is you'll get a reservation from Vrbo, and then you get a reservation from Airbnb, and those dates are overlapping. That's because Vrbo and Airbnb do have an integration. They communicate somewhat, but there's a delay in that communication. Hostfully prevents that. Again, going back, my favorite feature, and this really comes in handy, even with 1 or 2 listings, not as exciting for the quote building feature, but even when you get 3 or 4, 5 maybe, this really helps because it saves a ton of time with direct bookings. So if you have someone that calls and they're like, hey, Rich, I stayed at one of your properties last year for work, but I'm coming with my family, 4 to 7 bedrooms. I can't justify anything more than $1,400 a night. We want something with a mountain view, and we are coming by in September for about a week. Do you have anything available? While that guest is informing you of what they're looking for, you're putting it in. You're going to apply those filters. But right now, I just want to show you, these are my 25 listings. But as soon as you apply those filters, only the properties that match the guest requirements over the dates that they requested are going to populate here. So again, instead of looking at your calendar, seeing what's available, consolidating all that information and communicating it to the guest, all you need to do is click a button, and it's to email the property list. So as of right now, the Charlene, Kimberly, and the Von Ruck out of my 25 are the only ones available. I can tell them that over the phone. If they want to know what the price is, I can go to our price view, and right then and there are the prices. But then going back to the booking view, I'm going to email the property list. So all 3 of those listings are consolidated in an aesthetically pleasing email, all the information necessary, but then also it's hyperlinked to your direct booking website. This way, the guest doesn't go on Airbnb and Vrbo and book there and be kind of, intrigued by the other listings in your area. You're designating them to your direct booking site, your listing that match their requirements. They know it's available, and they're going to make that reservation right then and there. So the quote building feature helps because you're immediate in your response, and there's also this huge sense of professionalism, getting back to your guest right away. Here's the analytics tab. So here is where you can see everything that we saw earlier: the occupancy rate, the average daily rate, how your property is pacing. This is specifically just for all of my properties. You could do this year, you could do specific properties as well. You have a bunch of filters right over here. So August, I'm kind of plummeting. So just to kind of give you a visual right then and there. And that's your day-to-day with Hostfully. Any questions so far? We do have about 20 minutes, and I want to review the back end.
Yeah, so
all right. I don't see any in the chat. Rich, do you have any?
Yeah, so you're showing that pretty much all of these are direct bookings. Is that by design, or is that just kind of the nature of your listings?
Yeah, so these, again, this is demo property, so they're all direct.
Okay.
But if it was Airbnb, Vrbo, you'll have more of a
breakup of what those are
of color.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. I was just curious.
Yeah, these are all just direct to their demo properties.
So this is demo properties. Okay. And then when you did the task for the cleaner, and the cleaner logs onto their portal, do they have the ability to upload pictures to that portal, or is it just simply for messaging?
They do. Nope, they have the ability to see the jobs, see their properties for the jobs, see availability. They can have questions on there. and then they can load pictures as well. You could put a checklist, but it's not necessarily like a checklist they would have to check off, but more of a guide for
Got it.
that property.
Okay.
But we do also have a bunch of integrations. So like Breezeway, Turno, we have a lot of integrations that have a more robust system if you need it. But that's really depending on the property manager and the amount of listings
Got
they
it.
have.
Okay.
So what happens here, this is the back end, kind of as I mentioned earlier, a set it and forget it. This is where all of your properties live. So when you join Hostfully, we're going to import your Airbnb properties into Hostfully. All you need to do is click a button and everything imports over to Hostfully. Any new listings you would build on Hostfully once. Did I click the right button? My apologies. You'd have to build it in Hostfully once, and then it'll push out to all the channels. So you don't have to go into Airbnb and Vrbo and build those listings in those channels directly. All you're going to do is build it in Hostfully, and then it's going to push out to all the channels. Same thing with any updates. If you have to update a name, minimum stay, any pictures, you're going to do that on Hostfully, and it's going to push out to all the channels. And I'm not too sure. I think my Wi-Fi is now on the fritz, Rich. My apologies.
It's okay. It happens.
Good old live demo for you. Let me see. I have a router. Yeah, I don't know. We'll wait on that. But any questions so far? Do you have any questions, Rich, on that?
As a part of the back connections, is that where you also can tie in any integrations, like with price optimization tools and other things to tie into the listing?
Yes. So you're able, here, let me see, pull up this one.
I'll let you play around with that until you get it back working.
One moment.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi is off.
While we're trying to get the Wi-Fi back up and running, does anybody that's currently tuning in have any questions on what we've covered so far? And in regards to Hostfully and being able to do direct bookings and be able to manage communications with your cleaners, the calendar, the inbox. Do you have any questions? Just throw them in the comment section below, and we'll address those as well. We'll dedicate a little bit of time towards the end as well for any questions. Looks like you're back in there, or no?
Yeah, it seems as though they populated. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is, as I mentioned, this is where your properties are. You can add a property, or you can also import them directly from Airbnb. Any new listing, you're going to do so here. But by clicking on a property, you're going to see the back end of how it's built out. So main settings, description, guidance, any amenities, your photos, your pricing will be done here. Now you can also integrate with a dynamic pricing tool. We integrate with all of them, Price Labs, Wheelhouse, the whole 9 yards, and I'll review those as well. But again, really what you're going to look at is your main settings, your description, your amenities, and your photos. If you do your own pricing, you'll update it on the main settings as your base rate. But then under pricing is where you'll be able to update everything accordingly. And then from there, we also, as I mentioned, have integration. So we integrate, we probably have one of the strongest APIs in the market. So our software communicates very well with other software. So our payment processors, we have Stripe, PayPal, vacation rent payment. The thing to note with Stripe or any payment processor for that matter is the payment processing fee that comes with that payment processor. But also when a software is connected to Vrbo, you automatically become merchant on record. So with that, you have to remit taxes. You're in charge of your finances, which I kind of like better. But with Stripe, let's use them as an example. It's the one that we recommend. 2.9% processing fee for all direct bookings and Verbo. Now, there's also a 1% Hostfully fee. So technically, the only thing you need to worry about is your Verbo reservations and your direct reservations have a 3.9% processing fee. However, at Hostfully, we created the rate multiplier. And the rate multiplier, what you would do is you would go down to Hostfully and you would put in the rate multiplier, the 3.9%. Now that 3.9 unbeknownst to the guest. So if your rate is $100 a night, your guest is going to see $103.90 a night. They pay the processing fee and you get a true net payout. So that's kind of the workaround for those processing fees and how to not avoid them, but not pay for them. So you can kind of pass it along to the guest.
And then just to be crystal clear, so obviously, if you've got most of your bookings coming through Airbnb, what you're describing as a fee doesn't really come into play because it's already being handled on the Airbnb platform, just to clarify that.
Correct. Yep. Airbnb is merchant on record no matter what. Verbo, it's a limitation on Verbo side. But word on the street is they're changing things up a bit. So you'll have the option on whether you want to remain merchant on record, because there are some people that prefer that, or Verbo will be merchant on record. TBD on when that's happening. Again, it's just communication. They don't have a hard date, but it's something that they're working on. And it's something that all the property management softwares are excited for, because again, we're waiting for them to do it. Again, limitation on Verbo's end. But if you can't deal with the situation, you improve it somehow. So we created the rate multiplier. So that's kind of a workaround for the credit card payment processing fee. In terms of dynamic pricing, as I mentioned, you can do so manually on Hostfully. All you need to do is set the base rate, shows up per month. You can change those rates accordingly, and they will update to those channels right away. Or if you have more listings, and manually adjusting rates is a time consumer, you can easily do Price Labs, Wheelhouse, Beyond, Rented, DPGo. We have all of these integrations specifically for dynamic pricing. They create your rate based on market intelligence. It communicates to Hostfully. Hostfully pushes it out to all the channels to which you're connected. Seamless integrations as well. And you're going to notice Hostfully has a lot of integrations, which, pat on the back, a lot of people want to work with us because our API and our software is so advanced. Going down, we have smart home, so Links, Remote Lock, Point Central, Operto. We also have Minute, Jervis Systems, StayFi. Like, there's a lot of opportunities here. Highlighting the ones that we use most of the time is dynamic pricing, but also cleaning and turnover management. Now, Breezeway, awesome software. Depending on, again, we don't recommend softwares because we don't even recommend our own software because every property manager is different. Every property manager is looking for something different, something new, something that fits their operations and their management style. So Turno, Breezeway, Properly, Operto Teams, Easy Care, those are a bunch of cleaning and turnover management software that we have integrated with all of our integrations as well. Something to note, all you need to do is toggle it on and you automatically get a notification to log into your account. You log into your account and that integration automatically integrates with Hostfully seamlessly. And we have help documents and step-by-step on how to do that. With accounting, this is really growing as well. QuickBooks Online, VR platform, clearing, CoopTick, insurance and guest screening. So Airbnb and Verbo do a great job with that. We also integrate with Superhog, Safely, Insure a Guest on guest screening and insurance specifically for the short-term rental market. So something to also take a look at, especially if you're leading the charge with direct bookings. Auto host check-in. This one, check-in scan, wasn't there this morning. So we're constantly adding integrations as well to our software. You do get the digital signatures with our software from Pro or higher, but if you are a starter, our starter package doesn't include digital signatures, but we integrate with Dropbox Sign as an alternative. We have noise aware, and again, and just going down the list, there are a ton of integrations. And you can also take a look at that on our website. If you go to hostfully.com/partnerships or /integrations, you'll see the promotions as well as all of the software that we integrate with.
I'm also going to put a link to the website.
We have 10 minutes. I
well,
think we're okay on time. Is obviously Airbnb. Oh.
Yeah,
Awesome.
sorry, Frank.
Thanks,
I don't
I
know
think
if
there's a delay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a little bit of a delay, but I wanted to add. I put in the comments below the B&B Investing Group link if you guys want to get more details and kind of connect. I just put that link in the comments so you guys can have access to it as well. And then I'm gonna, if it's okay, Frank, I'll throw your email address in there too. If folks need to reach out to you directly, that works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Rich will throw it in there, but again, frank@hostfully.com. Nice and easy. Yeah, and then just also quick going back, Airbnb is where you're going to see most of your reservations, along with Vrbo. Depending on your market and your location, you'll probably see one from Booking.com. Also note, Hostfully is preferred partner with all three, Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking.com. We also have Google Vacation Rentals now. So we were one of the first, actually we were the first US-based property management software to have the Google Vacation Rentals as a channel integration. If you haven't heard about Google Vacation Rentals, go do your research because it's going to definitely be a disruptor in the market in a good way, in my opinion. Again, Marriott International Homes and Villas. Hostfully is your direct booking site. And then we have like niche channels like Go Lightly, Getaway Go. Home ads is something I want to point out because monthly rentals, especially if you're located in the Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, you're going to see a lot, at least in North Carolina, we've seen a huge uptick in extended stays and monthly rentals. Home ads is where you want to be listed because people looking specifically for long-term rentals and midterm rentals will look on home ads. Whimstay is last minute booking discounts. So that's good for those filler nights and last minute reservations. Again, Airbnb and Vrbo, but then you can, depending on your market and your management and your operations, you can kind of fit these in as well if you see fit. If you have a lodge, you definitely want to go on Lodge Lovers. So, similar to our integrations, we do also have a lot of partnerships with our OTAs. Lastly, our templates and triggers. So these are your automated emails, text messaging, WhatsApps. We provide you with all of these templates, but you could also create your own custom template. They're all templates that I created with variables, and they'll pull the guest's first name. So like, for example, we can quickly create an email template. And in that template, let's say I want to pull the variable of the guest's first name, the property, the dates. I can pull all of that stuff. This way I create one template, but that one template can work for all 10 of my properties because it's going to pull the necessary information to communicate with the guest. Once a template is completed, you're going to go here to your triggers, and on there, you have all of your usual when a booking is requested, when you receive an inquiry, when it's confirmed, updated, canceled, when a booking is paid, or even when a payment has failed. All of these are kind of the usual that you'll see in automated communication. But my favorite is the complex condition. Now, here's where you can get really granular with your communication. It's still automated, but it seems a little bit more personal from the property manager to the guest. So you can create emails or text messages to go out after the stay ends, after the stay starts, before the stay ends, before the stay starts. Specific day of the week, you can send emails out. So a lot, you can get, again, as mentioned, you can get really granular with your emails. The one that I like, there's two that I like that we've seen our guests do or our clients, is after the stay ends, they'll create a template saying, hey, we miss you. We would love to welcome you back. Here's my direct booking website. Here's a discount code so you get 10% off your reservation. And you'll send that to every single guest 90 days after they check out. And that's automated. You don't have to even think about promoting your direct bookings strategy. Another option is before the stay starts, you normally send your pre-arrival email saying, hey, we look forward to welcoming you. Here's the personal lock code. Here's our personal address, all the necessary information for the guest to check in. And you normally send that 2 days before the guest checks out. You could also send hours as well, FYI. But let's say that personal lock code and rental agreement, whatever, I need the booking to be paid in full before that email gets sent out. So if the guest is due to arrive and they don't receive an email from you and they're like, hey, Rich, I never got the address or the lock code. Can you send that to me? You're going to look on Frank's reservation and Frank's going to say that he has a $300 balance. In that case, you're going to let Frank know, pay the $300. As soon as you pay the $300, you'll receive the lockbox code and the address. So again, keeping the ball back in your court, preventing any headaches that can come up during the reservation and during the guest stay. So a lot of fun, granular ways you can do that. You can also do, hey, if you want to get really strict, the agreement has to be signed and the booking has to be paid in full in order to receive an email. So yeah, that's Hostfully in a nutshell. I'm going to jump on pricing real quick. Everything is completely transparent. Pricing that you come across is on the pricing tab on Hostfully. So, which is 5 to 11, Pro Plus, which is 12 to 19, and then you have Premium, which is 20 or higher. And the pricing is contingent on the subscription. If you have 2 properties, but you want the digital signature and the text messaging capabilities, you could sign up for our Pro package. And Wi-Fi comes into play. Any questions so far, Rich?
Yeah. So is there something that shows the owner statement abilities for folks that are managing properties?
All right. So here we have the monthly. So as I mentioned, starter is at $119. The Pro package is at $215. Pro Plus is $269. And then we have the premium pricing after 20 listings. You have $600 onboarding fee, or you could sign up annually, and that annual, you'll receive 10% off your annual fee, along with a $300 discount on your onboarding fee. We do have a promotion in May where we are waiving the onboarding fee for your annual. So instead of paying $300 for onboarding, you're paying $0. And then if you sign up monthly, instead of $600 onboarding fee, we're giving you $450 off, where you're only paying $150 instead of $600 for onboarding. And if you're interested in learning more about that, shoot me an email and I'll set up a one-on-one with you. Now, 2 minutes left. The thing that really sets us apart from all the other software is our customer service and our onboarding. You will receive 3 one-on-one personal onboarding sessions with a designated onboarding manager. So a real life person is going to help you transfer your listings in, make sure everything is set up. They're going to make sure your foundation is strong, that your skeleton is in place. This way you're set up for success. Once you're onboarded, now it depends on how many listings you have. It depends on your availability. I'm in sales, so I need to say that our onboarding can take about 30 to 45 days. However, you can expedite that, and our onboarding team now has office hours. So in addition to your 3 one-on-one onboarding sessions, they have a 1-hour allotment Monday through Friday where you can jump on and learn more about the software and how you can expedite your onboarding. You can go to one, you can go to all 5. Monday through Friday, 1 hour allotment. Now, depending on your subscription as well, if you have more than 5 listings, or if you at least sign up for the pro package, you will also have a dedicated customer success rep. So we'll sign you up. You'll be introduced to your onboarding manager. That onboarding manager will assist you with your onboarding. Once your onboarding is complete and you go live on the channels and on Hostfully, you are then introduced to a customer success manager who is essentially your account manager. And they're going to be your account manager through your entire life with Hostfully. In addition to 24-hour, 7-day-a-week customer support, we have a YouTube channel, Hostfully University. Our customer success team also now has Monday through Thursday, 1 hour allotment office hours, similar to onboarding. So we provide you with all the resources that you need to succeed. And that's my spiel, Rich. Made it on 6 o'clock on the dot.
Good job. Good job. So just to be crystal clear, if I have one property, I'm just starting, I've got one listing, it's going to be $119 a month. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. Unless you want digital signatures and text messaging, then you sign up for the pro. Even though it says 5, you can still have one listing and sign up for that. We have a ton of starter clients that have 1 or 2 listings, but they sign up for the pro. But yeah, if you have one listing, $119 per month.
All right. And then are you able to show real quick what an owner statement looks like for those folks that are managing properties?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a report section. So we have reports that you can just run ad hoc. Maybe the owner's like, he emails you today and they're like, hey, Rich, can we see how we're pacing for the month of May? You have this quick email that you can this quick report that you can manually run and email the owner. But what we have now is enhanced reporting. So you can create and customize your own reports. You can have columns and categories. You can create essentially whatever report you want. And it's going to not only automatically generate, but you can have it generate and sent to the owner automatically, daily, weekly, or monthly. Most of the time, you're going to create an owner statement the way you want it to, and you're going to automatically send it to them every month. And you get to choose the last day of the month, the first day of the month. So really cool enhanced reporting feature there. And then with the owners, I created one. It's a financial statement with the channel commission. And let me see, it's just because my Wi-Fi is not the best right now. I don't want to risk it, but you can pull HTML, PDF, CSV. So we're going to pull up a PDF real quick. And this is going to show you my report that I share with the owners. It's going to show you the guest info. What's really nifty is it breaks down what's due to the agency and what's due to the owner based on your commission percentage that you built in Hostfully. So here is the entire month. Oh, that's why it took forever. This is my year to date. There we go. Or the first quarter. So what you can see is all the reservations. Now, if you want the fees and the taxes removed, you can do that. Or if you want the fees and the taxes spread out so you can see like the specific fees and taxes, you can do that as well. But what I wanted to show you is the channel rate. So Hostfully is that 3.9%. If it was Airbnb, whatever percentage they charge, Verbo, etc. And then the OTA commission based on that. So you can do the math for them. Or you know what? Maybe you don't want your owners knowing about that. You just take that out. They don't have to know about that information. But then what you want to show them is what's due to the agency and what's due to the owner. So each reservation, the owner is going to see he made 600 here, they made 257 there. But then on the bottom, we do that math for you. So for the first quarter of 2024, you as the property manager made $5.3 thousand and the owner made $21.5 thousand. So a nice report that you can send to your owners. And again, I don't have to show all this information. You can literally put arrival, departure, all the fees, whatever you want to share with your owner, you can create your own report. And again, our onboarding team has examples for reports, templates and triggers, we call it 5-star communication. And then even for the reports, they send it to you automatically as part of our onboarding process.
Got it. Very cool. So this has been super informative, Frank. I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Yeah, I mean, it's been funny because when I first started, I was able to do a demo in like 35, 40 minutes. But because we're adding more and more stuff, I'm like, I have to talk fast. I have to get through it all. So normally it takes a little longer than an hour. So thank you for my rambling and appreciate it.
Yeah, no. You cover everything good. I mean, I think it's important to know about the direct booking concept and have that ability as a host and be able to have that as a target to grow your business. It's so you're not dependent upon one or two of the OTAs. And so again, we've put Frank's contact info in the comments. I've also put a link that shows you've come through B&B Investing Group to schedule something with Hostfully if you want to do a deeper dive and kind of learn more about it.
And there's a lot more to our software. So yeah, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. We can jump on a 15, 30-minute call. We can also redo the demo at a slower pace. So, and again, this is just an overall of our software, but property managers have different needs, and I'm happy to just jump into our features and capabilities so we make sure that we're the right software for you.
Awesome. So thanks everybody for tuning in. B&B Investing Group, we help investors want to scale a business and kind of grow with short-term rentals. If you're ready to kind of jump in and get started with that and want to see if B&B Investing Program is a good fit for you, reach out to me directly on Facebook Messenger. We can schedule a quick call and see what your goals and objectives are, see if it's a good fit or not. And Frank, thank you again. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah.
And we'll see everybody again next Thursday. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks for having me, Rich. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.